Oh dear, Ben, you've made me laugh. Which I guess is not necessarily a trait that real estate agents need to have, but good to have. And I know I said this off camera, but you showed up to your interview in beachwear.
I did.
Can we unpack that, please? Because I'm not familiar with this story.
Yeah, so I came out to Dubai on holiday. I've always liked the idea of coming to Dubai and potentially living here. But I came on holiday with some friends and obviously didn't pack anything to come for an interview.
Okay.
It's not what I thought about at all.
Okay.
So I sat on West Beach and on a sun lounger, and I was just like, do you know what? I think I could live here. And I pulled up recruitment websites and was just looking kind of what jobs I could do. And I didn't have any real estate experience prior. And I just got into reading and watching some videos about real estate in Dubai and how different it was to like everywhere in the world. And I just thought, do you know what? I'm going to apply for a couple of these companies and kind of see what could go wrong.
Okay.
I applied for some other stuff that wasn't in real estate as well. And yeah, I ended up here and I was like, I have nothing to wear for an interview. So I spoke to the lovely Orla in your team. Shout out to Orla, of course. And I turned up in like some going out trousers and like a beach top.
So I was going to say, could you just unpack the actual beachwear outfit? Are we talking you were in Havaianas, Birkenstocks, sneakers?
Loafers.
Okay, all right, yeah.
No socks.
Okay, no socks. Please don't tell me you wore. I'm hoping with the sock and swim shorts.
Yeah, no. those swim shorts and some trousers and then like kind of a beachwear like top.
But it obviously made a lasting impression and it clearly didn't matter what you wore because you got the job.
Yeah, I did apologise before I even got here to Orla that I wouldn't be coming in quite interview attire, but yeah, no, it was
Listen,
good.
It didn't seem to matter because, as I say, you got the job. Yeah. But I'm interested to know what spontaneous decisions you made in that moment because you said, I was sat there on a sun lounger on West Beach. Yeah. Right, okay.
Yeah. So I'd say for me, I was kind of in my both personal life and work life, I was kind of at a stage where it was like I either stay in the UK and carry on doing what I'm doing. But before I go back a couple of steps, I was a director for an automotive company in the UK, focusing on sales and recruitment, and also a bit of marketing as well.
Okay.
And I was kind of a ceiling almost, without kind of being an MD or an owner of a company and where I could go at a good salary, stable job. But I was like in a position where I was like, I'm not challenging myself. And it was either I set up my own thing, or do I go somewhere else and do something completely different that might give me those type of opportunities. And it was more reliant on me than kind of above me.
Well, I guess in many respects, coming and working as a real estate agent in Dubai, if you get it right, you're basically running your own business within a business.
Yeah.
So you're still fulfilling that self-employed model.
Yeah.
But you don't necessarily have the overheads to worry about. Yeah. You don't have to worry about all of the third parties or finding suppliers or anything of that sort. You literally plug yourself in as what I would imagine to have been a very capable salesperson in the UK. Otherwise you wouldn't have been in the position that you were.
Yeah.
You then rid yourself of all the responsibility of a team and sickness and everything else.
Managing
and you
people.
can focus and and don't we know that can be difficult.
Yeah, indeed.
And actually you rid yourself of all of those things and then allow yourself to focus on doing the job which you do now, which arguably you do exceptionally well.
No, thank you. Yeah, it was a big shock. Obviously it was very different in the UK what I did. It was obviously, it was automotive and then it was also managing people and it was not really about self.
Yeah.
It was about others.
Yeah.
And I wasn't really as hands-on sales. It was more the team around that were hands-on sales. And then I came here and it was like all the way back to square one, roots of selling. And I love it. I love it.
Did you feel a degree of liberation though?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Because this is so much more rewarding. Like definitely, I can't think of, like when I first got here, it's extremely daunting. No salary. It's a new country.
Yep.
A market that I do not know. And I didn't really know what I was stepping into.
Yep.
And coming in and when you see everything from start to finish, it's all self-generated. So then when you get to that final closing stage and it can be very rewarding.
Yep.
But that emotional roller coaster, it's worth it in the end.
You picked up on something I was going to talk to you about later on, but you would say then that the roller coaster of being a real estate agent is 100% worth it.
It is 100% worth it. You just have to be resilient and manage yourself appropriately and just kind of not dwell on the downs too much.
Yep.
And take those, we always talk about here, is taking the small wins. So it's like even a phone call conversation went well. It's just to take that home with you and be like, okay, that was good. That could potentially lead to something in 2 months, 3 months. And it's not, everything's going to not happen all at once. And it's kind of a snowball effect over time.
How have you found then, and I know I said you probably found it liberating, but in your own words, how have you found ridding yourself of, and I don't mean to be rude by saying ridding yourself, but you ridded yourself of a team and you came to work here with no team, and now you're responsible for your own success only. Your success is not based on the success of others.
Yeah.
How do you feel in your own words?
I think for me, it was the perfect decision. It was probably what I was really looking for. Don't get me wrong, I was happy in my previous role, but I was very much at kind of a midpoint.
Yeah.
Whereas now I'm doing my own thing. I'm working under a great brand and I'm meeting great clients, and it's really exciting what I have to do. And that excites me, and it's all self-generated.
Yeah.
And there's not really anyone that can kind of sit back and say, no, that was this that helped. It was that did this.
Yeah.
That was why that happened. It was
It's you.
no, it was me.
It was down to you.
And yeah, that's ultimately really rewarding for me.
So you just mentioned something there that I want to pick up on, which is working under a great brand.
Yeah.
You'd mentioned earlier on in the pod that you'd interviewed or you'd put yourself forward for other companies. You came in your famous beachwear attire.
I did.
What was it about Allsop and Allsop that stood out for you in comparison to the other agents?
Yeah, so I'd interviewed at a number of other agencies, not to mention names, but kind of Allsop's main competitors. And what it was when I walked in really was kind of three things that Allsop had to offer. One, most crucially, no real estate experience, complete novice over here, training.
Yep.
The training here, even people at other real estate firms spoke about Allsop and Allsop's training. And they'd had agents from Allsop that had maybe gone there and been like, okay, they're really well-trained agents. So that spoke volumes.
Good.
And then I'd also say the atmosphere, because I actually got to come here in person, which I think is quite rare for a lot of new starters. I just
ask, was that your first time in Dubai when you came here?
No, I've been here about 5 times before that,
fine.
but yeah.
Okay. So you were a bit of an amateur not amateur, sorry, more than an amateur.
Yeah.
Yeah, fine. Okay.
Yeah, so it was the atmosphere, walking around the office, like the music playing and just like everyone on the sales floor, and like everyone was really friendly and nice. I got to speak to a couple of agents and stuff like that, and they gave me a bit more of like a real idea what day-to-day looks like.
You mean the recruitment team didn't do that
And the
for
recruitment team, of course, Cam. And then again, the way Ola like handled the interview process and everything as well was very transparent and also really helpful with absolutely everything outside of just the job role parameters, like where to live and all those aspects that moving to a new country is quite daunting. So
actually you would say the experience that you got wasn't necessarily an interview, sat one side of the desk and somebody else the other, but actually more of a arm around relocation, assistance.
Yeah.
Yes, the job, what skills do you have? Are you suitable for us?
Yeah.
But beyond that, it was, okay, how can we make this move a success for you?
That was it. It was the process kind of from start to finish. And it was like seen all the way through. It's kind of similar to being a real estate agent.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, I think in many respects, yes, we are recruiters, but we probably do act as relocation agents.
Yeah.
The amount of WhatsApps I've got on my phone from people saying, what do you think to this apartment? And should I get this car? And which bank account should I open?
Yeah.
It's all important stuff to make sure that you feel settled and comfortable. And clearly that settlement that you've had and that comfortability that you've enjoyed here so far, and I'm not saying that you felt comfortable the whole time, because I know that it's been difficult at points. It's the real estate cycle. But you would say that the training, the onboarding process, the recruitment process itself, the brand, the atmosphere of the office and being here all went towards you choosing us versus another agency. Because I'm sure you probably had other offers, right?
Yeah, no, I had offers actually from all the agencies I went to. But Allsop and Allsop for me was definitely suited my personality, one. And then two, also the brand itself was one of the main leaders in the market, and that's who I wanted to be associated with.
Good. You had no real estate experience. You've said that. You worked in the automotive industry. I have a side question. Do you like electric cars?
No.
I hate them.
Yeah,
I'm sorry if this offends any of our listeners, but I hate them.
They're fast. Okay.
They're fast, but they're
Just
quiet.
boring.
Yeah.
It's boring. Like,
anyway, there's a whole nother podcast we can do on
another
cars.
podcast on that
but
one.
I am going to
Don't
say,
get me started.
I am going to say, I'm glad that we share the same sentiment. Actually then, what car do you drive now? Sorry, we're going off on way on a tangent.
So I drive an Audi RS Q8.
Okay, very nice.
Yeah.
V8, right?
A V8, yeah.
Not an electric car.
Not an electric car. Far from.
Good job you do well in real estate, and good job we live in Dubai where the fuel is cheap.
Cheap, exactly.
So what was your first impression on day one entering the sales floor? Because you've spoken about how the experience that you had with the interview was great and all of that jazz. The training was incredible, and we know that. You step out with your wings, and then you're on this sales floor with hundreds of other people from varying backgrounds, varying experience levels, music very loud, because that's part and parcel of what Allsop and Allsop is all about.
It is, yeah.
What was that feeling when you walked onto the sales floor?
It was, again, daunting. I remember I started in Emirates Living, and it was quite a big lettings team at the time, because I started in the letting side. And I think it was about 8 or 9 of us at the time. And I walked up to the team, and everyone was like, oh, like new starter. Hello.
you.
Yeah, hello. Someone I'm going to have to train and help and ask millions of questions. And but no, the team were fantastic, really helpful, really good bunch of people. And I kind of just sat in my chair and just like tried to take everything in for about 20 minutes. And I just got up and had a walk around and just like looked what other people were doing. I was like, all right, okay, I think I need to pick up my phone and I just throw myself into the deep end. And that's exactly what I did.
I guess caveat to that feeling of, oh no, not you, oh, somebody I've got to train. Putting yourself now in the shoes of a commission-only real estate agent, you probably understand
I do.
you
100%.
are the most important person.
Yeah.
Not that nobody else is more important. Of course, your clients are, yes, for sure. But you know when you're sat on the plane and they say, please affix your mask before somebody else. In real estate, look after yourself first, I guess is the mentality, and then help others around you. But when you arrive, that feeling is like, oh, do people not like me? Am I not welcome? Is this? But it's because people are there doing a commission-only role. Their first and main priority is themselves, right?
Yeah, for sure. So, but I also think there's an element within there, especially now within the team I'm in. So I'm in the Talal Gaf sales team. Like with us guys, are like try to be a closely knit unit.
Yeah.
And it's help yourself, okay, first, but is doing right by your client. Yes. And if you don't have the right thing for them, is then using your team as to leverage yourself up and also beneficiary of the team. So that's...
You walked into exactly the place that I wanted to go to, which is the team around you, because you're right. You started in Emirates Living, in lettings.
Yeah.
You then went into Talal sales.
Yes.
Do you think that going into lettings first helped you personally?
100%. I would not be nowhere near the agent I am today without going into lettings. Not one chance. I was actually asked to go into sales first because I had prior sales experience, which I can understand. But for me, I was like, coming to Dubai was a big humbling experience anyway.
Yeah.
And I was like, I need to start from the bottom and get as much exposure to viewings, client interactions, negotiations. And I was told by the directors and managers here, lettings is where you'll do it. So that's why I went into lettings.
So you don't look back and think, oh, I wish I'd have gone into sales first. You actually are pleased, proud, happy that you started 100%. Where you are.
I wouldn't have got, my biggest clients today are all from lettings.
No way.
All from lettings, not from inquiries from sales, all from lettings.
Because there is a school of thought to suggest that if you do have the sales experience and you've got a decent pot of money behind you to support yourself as a commission-only broker, and using you as an example, you came from a director level position. Yeah. To get to that level in the UK, you will have had to have been good and proven yourself in that field. Yeah. So there would have been an argument to say, well, yeah, Ben would be great in sales first. Let's put him into sales first.
For sure.
Do you think you'd still be successful? You said you wouldn't be half the agent. Humbling of you to say that. But do you think you would have still been successful?
I think yes, but it would have taken a lot longer. I think it would have taken a lot longer. It probably would have been a 2-year type of 2 or 3 year cycle to be kind of see the same levels of success because the exposure I got in lettings was tenfold of what people do in sales. Like you do more viewings, you have like more interactions, more negotiations, and you make more mistakes. So then when you move into sales, you make less. So your conversion rate is higher.
Well, I guess in many respects, because you're dealing with so many people, so many more transactions, the speed of the transaction is much quicker.
Yeah.
You can afford to make mistakes in lettings, whereas you mess up in sales when somebody's entrusting you to buy a 20 million dirham villa.
Yeah.
You can't make a mistake.
No, you cannot.
Or if you can, then sometimes it's costly.
Having to salvage it is the hardest bit. Yeah.
Can I ask, a lot of the people that will be listening to this podcast will be people in different parts of the world listening and thinking, maybe I want to make the move to Dubai and I want to work in real estate. How long did it take you from transitioning into sales to do your first deal? And how much was that first deal worth, if you don't mind sharing?
Yeah, okay. So it took me 3 weeks to do my first sale.
No flies on you.
And the first sale was 42 million dirhams. Yeah. So not...
Can we just put that into either dollars or pounds for people to understand?
About $12 million, yeah.
$12 million was the cost of the villa.
Yeah.
That you sold.
Yeah, there's a whole story behind it. If you want me,
should we go there?
I think
we should go there.
It's. I want to kind of show that the element of it. It was, yes, it's a massive sale, but it was not easy. It was the biggest emotional roller coaster of my life, I would say.
Ever?
Yeah, ever. Yeah, because I never earned that amount of money off a single sale. Like it was crazy. And it started off with a client that I met in lettings. And he was looking at renting something. He's relocating his whole family to Dubai.
Yeah.
And he's looking at renting at 2.5-3 million dirhams a year for rent.
Which again, just to put into context, is what, £500,000 to £600,000?
Yes.
A year on rent.
So I said to the guy, we've been out a couple of times, I'd shown him loads of different areas and got to know his family really well. Lovely South African family. And basically, I just said, why don't you actually buy something? Because the amount of money you're spending on rent, you're giving this away. And I said you could buy something as an investment anyway. And you could either do a mortgage and you don't have to like rent and give someone else this income.
Nice.
And the property appreciation, this is kind of what it's looking like for the next 2-3 years. And he was like, oh, that's really interesting. Have a think about it. He gave me a budget. It was 20 million dirhams. So how we ended up at 42 is beyond
because
me.
Whatever buyers tell you they want, they do not. They want something different.
Exactly that. So I ended up showing him multiple areas and took him out into Jumeirah Golf Estates is where I ended up buying. He nearly bought into Al Gaff, something off plan, but then he was like, oh, I'm going to have to rent this thing until it's ready.
Yeah.
So then we came into Jumeirah Golf Estates and he bought a beautiful, stunning home there. But the lead up to that property, we lost 3 other properties. So we lost one. We lost one at 24 million. We had an agreement with the seller on a price, and then the seller decided he basically didn't want to sell it anymore. So it was fantastic. So he got quite upset with me. Apparently that was my fault. And
it's your fault. You're the estate agent.
Yeah, I know. It's my fault that he didn't want to sell anymore. And then on option number 2, which was a bit more of like a renovation project for the client, it's about 34 million dirham property. We got gazumped. We went contracts, clauses over, everything on the table. We'd signed from our side, and just before the seller had signed, a developer came in with a higher offer and just cleaned us straight off the table.
And sorry, just to interject, that's somebody buying a villa at 35 million dirham, which is about £7 million,
yeah,
that needs redevelopment.
Yeah, exactly.
Big money we're talking here.
Big money.
Big money.
So then we went and bought another property not far away that was similar. It was actually 39.3 million dirhams, the property, is what we agreed on the sale. We'd both signed the contracts 1 week before transfer. My client's in the business lounge waiting to fly to Dubai to do his transfer of the villa. I got a phone call from the agent who I did the deal with. Darren Murphy will remember this very well. It was a very emotional time for us both. Got a phone call from Darren to say the seller's had an offer from a Russian buyer. He's paying cash. He's paying all the penalty and he's offered 46 million on this property. And the seller's going to pull out the contract. I was literally driving. I was in such a great mood.
What do you do? What do you do when you receive news like that, though?
It was Sunday night, 9 p.m. And I remember I was driving to meet my girlfriend, and my heart just went, just completely sank. And I just didn't know what to say. I just thought we'd gone through all this roller coaster emotion on the other ones. And I was thinking, how do I tell this client what has just happened and he used me ever again?
Well, it's the reality of having to talk to the client. But before that, it's that, oh my God, this has fallen through.
Yeah.
And in your head as a salesperson, you're thinking about the commission that you're going to earn. It's just the way that it goes. And then second to that, I've actually got to have the conversation with the client to tell him.
Yeah.
How's he going to react?
Literally. So realistically, I did have a bit of a mini meltdown.
Good.
A lot of F
I'm glad
words
that you've
were flying around.
Yeah, nice.
But yeah, no, my missus was very good. She was like, look, you just need to come up with a way to solve it. I'm sure there's a way you can do it. So
pick up the strong, supportive.
Yeah, very supportive. That's what you need. And then I came up with the idea of just getting the seller and buyer to meet face to face in the clubhouse in Jabira Golf.
Play on the emotions, the heartstrings.
Play on the emotions. We pulled on the heartstrings. Nice. 3.5 hours later, we came to an agreement, and
wow,
got it done.
But that did result in your buyer having to pay more money.
He had to pay more. He had to pay 42 million in the end. Wow. So
kudos. Could I ask? Is it too prudent to ask what you earned from that deal?
I put about 700,000 dirhams on the board after split. Yeah,
incredible. 700,000 dirhams, which is what, 150 English, 150,000 pounds.
English, yeah.
You don't regret leaving your previous job?
No.
Okay, let me ask you this, and it's quite a broad question because I don't think there is one specific answer. But what do you think the key is to unlocking high net worth clients?
I think is to be a really trusted advisor, and a lot of agents specifically fall into the trap of kind of just shoveling anything and everything in front of a client, or they'll send you a requirement and you'll send 15 links to different properties. And it's more about understanding the personal side of it for the client and what their reason is behind the purchase. Is it investment? Is it a family home? What is the motivation behind the purchase?
Yep.
And that's really it. And is trying to just slow yourself down a little bit and not be kind of just the hard sell.
Yep.
And being more personable and talking about your own experiences as well. And you seem a bit more real. It's very easy to walk anyone around. Anyone can walk anyone around a property and say, it's this square foot, it's that, it's this.
Yep.
But it's kind of going a bit beyond that, a bit deeper. And I kind of learned that a bit later on. I have to say after about 6-7 months, I was like, right, I need to start refining kind of my own personal brand and make more of a customer experience. It's all like little things. There's loads of stuff I do, but like bottles of water in the car. Okay. Just stuff like that. Yeah. Really simple. And there was one, like I had a client, an umbrella. It was really hot. And I gave his wife an umbrella. Just stuff like that. Just thinking it's outside the box.
Noticing maybe on the day or even ahead of and thinking what works specifically for that client. Yeah. You didn't need to offer the umbrella in the heat.
No, I didn't need to.
You did.
And then there was like the client out a couple of weeks ago, and he was looking at another property with another agency, and I said, look, they're a good agency. The price is very competitive, but I just want to take you to the property. I know where it is. Okay. I want you to stand in the back garden, and I'm just going to drive past the property a couple of times. And I did that. He was stood in the garden, got back in my car, and he just said, yeah, I'm not going to buy that property. I said, you can thank me later. It was their own noise. Yeah.
I like it.
So,
okay. So what you would say is for you personally, you go on above and beyond to make that client experience an experience. It isn't just, I've got a property and you're the buyer. Here you go. Yeah. It's curating that experience, which has clearly served you quite well.
Yeah.
And would you say that people operating at that higher level often create or require even more of a hand-holding experience? Because I think there's a school of thought to sell, but if you've got more money, you're more carefree.
Do you know what it is? It's actually the opposite. Definitely. There's hand-holding, but it's like they want you to facilitate and do everything and make their life as easy as possible, but give all the information in the beginning. So it's like this particular client that bought this house in the very beginning, this first deal, I helped get his kids into the school they wanted. And I was emailing the head teacher to get him appointments and meetings. And that's stuff that like other agents might not think about or do. Some do, but yeah, it's to do stuff like that.
Can I ask you where you learned that though, Ben?
I don't know.
Is it self-taught?
Yeah.
Have you experienced it yourself?
I think it's just self-taught. And then I think also like a big thing for me in my learning in the 2 to 3 months, my early stages, started to surround myself with people in Allsop, partners, associate directors, and learn what they're doing.
Yeah.
And kind of come up with my own creative way and own personal brand. That was kind of what I did.
So then actually the next cue card suggests what separates you from another agent. I think we've covered that, to be quite honest with you. You try and emulate them and make sure that the experience that they expect is even more heightened than maybe they expected.
And something to like remember you by and stuff like that. That's why I think telling personable stories leaves kind of a good story like for them to come back to, or a talking point if you pick up the phone to them again.
So I have a question based on that first deal, because I know you were quite candid about how much money you earned from it, which is fine. That's okay. I'm going to ask you a different question, which is what was the first thing you bought, having got that fairly sizable commission chunk?
I think I've already mentioned it. But yeah, I bought the Audi RSQ8, yeah. Yeah, it was a good day to part with my MG3 that had terrible asthma.
Hey, there was nothing wrong with an MG. They've had a meteoric rise to success after being bought by China, but they're no Audi RSQ8.
It's an agent's dream, that car.
I think in comparison to the Ford Figos and the Nissan Sunnies and everything else,
the Nissan
an MG3 is great.
Yeah.
The saloon or the hatchback?
I had the hatchback.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can get it into tight spaces. It's great.
Exactly,
Great for MOE. Ben, thank you. This has been an absolute eye-opening experience, because I have hired thousands of people. I didn't actually hire you. No. All I did, although I'm a bit gutted because I'd have liked to have had your revenue generated on my on my figures. But listening to you, and I don't know how to say this, I'm just going to say it. You're very normal. You've not said anything which is like, ooh, but you've said things which are just common sense.
Yeah.
You listen to what the client wants, you sell to them based on that, you give them the absolute wow experience, you go above and beyond. I presume that gives you some job satisfaction, not just the money that you're able to go, oh, I can buy this, I can buy that, I can buy the other, but actually you just feel generally excited about helping clients, and there's there's a satisfaction to it which goes above and beyond the commission that you earn.
Yeah, no, definitely. And that is kind of like a key question really, is I'd say my first 3 to 4 months was commission, and just focused on what the number was. I was working out the commission on my calculator when I'd got a listing, and I just like thought to myself, I'd lost a couple of deals and I was like, what am I doing? I'm focusing on the wrong thing here. Need to focus on the client, and the commission will come secondary. And as soon as I did that, it just, the whole game changed. Yeah. I just focus on the client, get the right thing for them, and whatever it will be, the commission will follow. And there's been opportunities where I could have made quick wins and quite a lot of money. And I've actually moved the client onto something else that was probably better suited to them, because it's meant to be a long-term relationship and not just about the short-term win.
When did you think that penny dropped for you during your real estate career so far? Because that's a very poignant moment, which I don't believe even some very successful real estate agents don't have that moment.
Yeah. So truthfully, for me, it was a rental deal in Jumeirah Islands.
Okay.
And I had a listing, 2.2 million. It was my listing, it was my client. And I was like, this is fantastic. This is going to give me like 120,000 dirhams of commission.
Yeah.
And it's all I was focused on. And I took the client around some other properties, and I didn't show him some others, which I should have. It was my failing. And he liked it, but didn't want it. But I tried to get him onto that property. And then he went on the other with another agency.
That you hadn't shown.
That I hadn't shown. So then when I followed up with him to ask what's your thoughts, he's like, actually, I've gone with this. And I was like, I know what it is. And it was my own detriment. So that's when it was the harsh reality of it.
It was making a mistake that made you realise.
Made me realise, and it was that failure. And obviously it happens. But yeah, I was told myself that wouldn't happen again.
I love it. So I've got a few quick fire questions. Do you mind?
Go for it.
What advice would you give to somebody joining with zero real estate experience like yourself?
I think with zero real estate experience is when you get here is the first 12 months, you've just got to fully absorb yourself.
Yep.
Just kind of forget about the Dubai luxury lifestyle. You're here on your savings. It's very tempting, but it's always there. And it's not going anywhere. To be honest, if anything, it's getting better. So by the time you've made some money, it's going to be amazing. So that first year is just to completely smash it and put your head down, learn your area inside out, pick up the phone and actually call people. Don't be a WhatsApp warrior and actually speak to people. And you'll get a lot further by a voice than a message.
100%, especially in what is becoming a fairly crowded market, right? You've got to make sure that you separate yourself from the crowd. And joining Allsop and Allsop is one of those things, but there's even more that you can do to separate yourself and appear better.
Yeah.
What's the one thing you wish, and I know there's many things, but what's the one thing you wish you knew when you first started?
Do you know what? The one thing I wish I knew, it's just, I still would have done it, but just so I could have come a bit more prepared.
Yes.
It's how hard it is.
Okay, interesting.
Honestly, because you go from start to finish, everything is, like we mentioned earlier, is all you. And I wasn't really kind of ready for that. And that's kind of the one thing I wish I knew and I was a bit more prepared for, is so I could have maybe researched and done things a bit differently and come in with like a bit more of a focus where I took time to figure stuff out. And obviously loss of time in this job is no earning. So yeah, I'd say that was kind of the one thing I wish I knew.
Preparedness for how difficult
just
it was going to be.
being prepared and how difficult, and the resilient side of it as well, which I've learned over time to get more resilient.
Absolutely. Well, how long have you worked for Allsop and Allsop? I should know this.
Just over a year.
Yeah, see, I thought it was nearly 2, but that's ridiculous. Just over a year.
Yeah. I made senior in 6 weeks. Yeah.
So there's the progression question then. We won't need to answer that one. What's next for Ben?
Next for me is to keep focusing on working with my team and developing my personal brand within Allsop and Allsop, building my name within the company, and then also focusing on my clients, my current existing clients and new clients, developing relationships with them. And I think also is for a personal goal is to look towards making associate director. And that's kind of the direction I want to head in and just keep working and building on that and growing my knowledge of Dubai's real estate market.
Ben, it's been an absolute pleasure. You are the epitome of what an Allsop and Allsop agent is to me. Thank you.
Thank you, Cam.
And I'm looking forward to the next story or big deal. And of course, I'm looking forward to seeing where you upgrade next. You've gone for Audi RSQ8. What's next for you?
Yeah, who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows?
Thank you.
Thanks,
Ben.
Cam.